All right. Hey everybody, what's up today? This music, this groove has me kind of flying along right now. It's got that build happening. What's up everybody in the chat? Who was first today? John H. Kingston III from Rockaway Park, New York. Back again, one of our regulars. What's up? Jonathan Arkell, yo, what's up? Pavel, haven't seen you in a little while. Nice to have you back. Pavel K2. Hey, May. Am I saying that right? You got the little accent over the E, and it's A-I-M-E. May is what I think it is. Peter Paz, welcome. Wunangzi. AQRS, good day. Ryan Mason, yes, from England. Nice to have you. Dancing in my chair right now. Got my shoulders going back and forth. That's what I do. Max Wild calls it the Selway sway. All right. I don't even want to switch to the welcome screen. I'm just grooving to the music. I'm caught up in it. We'll wait for the break. All right. That's a good time. Welcome, everybody. Nice to be back here on another Saturday, a Techno Saturday. Hello to all my Techno friends. We used to do Techno Friends episodes. I'd have people coming in every now and then to talk and discuss things. And today is kind of along those lines. I have a guest today. He's been around a long time in New York, in the surrounding area. He's been a techno DJ, a techno producer. He's thrown parties, I think, if I recall correctly. I could be, the 90s are a haze. So, but yeah, we'll talk about all of that. Before I bring on Agent Orange, I just want to say to everybody, as you know, this is 343 Labs, 343 TV. We're on, about 3 times a week nowadays. Tetro on Tuesdays, Abe on Fridays, and myself on Saturdays. And we are all related to music education, music production. I do synthesis and sound design. Abe's doing his mixing classes and Ableton Live courses. I'm doing Ableton Live courses as well, along with the synthesis and sound design. And of course, we also have our new kind of dojo, our new online program where you can come and hang out, get feedback, get some mentoring, take part in our collab sessions and sample challenges, 343 Studio. We have our Discord that ties all of this stuff together. And information about all of that is in the description below. So if you want to know more about what we're doing, click on those links there. And anyway, that's my due diligence, right? Got to talk about 343. And, we like to come on here and share what we do every week. I do techno, I do electro. Man, my mind is, I don't know where my mind is today. Do you know what I think we need to do? I think we need to switch focus and introduce our guest. Actually, I almost forgot. I've got this nice little over-the-shoulder shot here from Agent Orange's press kit. This is him. I guess he's DJing and performing live, and he's got some kind of stuffed animal or something. But anyway, let's bring him in. Let's start the conversation. Welcome, Agent Orange. How's it going?
Hey, John. How you doing? Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Going pretty good.
Yeah. Cool.
That stuffed doll is from a gig in Amsterdam.
Aha. All right.
And I'd attached it onto the back of a TB3, 303 clone.
Okay.
That I used for that set.
Nice.
People did seem to like the doll and the set, hopefully.
It's cool. No, and that kind of, it gives that picture and just knowing you and talking to you, you have kind of a good positive vibe about what you do, which is definitely like, I see you wearing this T-shirt a lot, the Stay Young Love Techno T-shirt.
That's it. That's the slogan. That's what I started back in like 2001. And something I try to carry forward, just how the energy of music and kind of, going out, being around people kind of attaches you to the innocence of youth and the fun that we had as kids, try to keep that going into adulthood, keep us having fun forever,
I like that. It's definitely, it's a good attitude, and it comes through into music. I like dark, heavy techno as much as other kinds of techno, but my personality lends itself more towards kind of like, heart on my sleeve. Like if I'm happy, I show you. I'm not trying to be cool about everything. So and I like that attitude about life. So, and it's music for a good time, but it's also techno, right? Definitely.
Right.
So you've been producing a long. Whoa. My chair just decided to have a malfunction. It's going to be one of those days today.
That's something you didn't plan for.
No, I know. We were having
everything else, but that.
All of the technical stuff, all of making sure everything's working, the audio's working. You got your camera set up nice. I like your camera better than mine. Maybe it's the lighting. I don't know. But, just trying to get the stream working, having guests in. Those of you who have followed along have seen what can happen with remote video production and stuff like that. Things keep your fingers crossed. We're doing good. So anyway, so you've been producing a long time, but it took a little while for you to like kind of break out, I would say, and sort of get a bigger profile internationally as a producer.
Yes, yes, I would think that I did move around in between genres for a bit. I was doing some tech house for a while. When I was living in Spain, when I went there, like I don't know. I guess growing up in New York, I've loved house. I still love house, tech house. The older sound of tech house has changed a lot since more like the pagan,
Oh, sure.
Plastic City sound. Like that stuff. I really fell in love with back then. Terry Lee Brown Jr. kind of stuff.
There was a time when tech house was a different. It was
Yeah,
just
very different. Very
right
different. Yeah.
than what people refer to tech house as
So,
now.
so I kind of moved around genres, and I think due to that, it it didn't let me progress. Plus, and like I don't know, I wasn't really that focused on making it as a producer. Like I would just make tracks for fun for a
Hmm.
while, and then it's
Okay.
like you want more gigs, you got to push on these labels and that whole shebang. But you know, I think it really kind of took off. Maybe I'd say like 2017, 18
Hmm.
on kind of a bigger international level.
So
Which kind
fairly
of
recently, actually, like within the scope
fairly,
of, I've known you since the 90s, and, we
yeah,
used to go
yeah.
to Tronic Treatment, Christian
Oh yeah.
Smith and Victor Mizo's regular techno party, which was like one of the few regular good techno parties in New York at that time.
Oh, amazing times,
I
amazing
would say
times.
like, Tronic Treatment and then like the Bunker guys in the
Mhm.
beginning, they were like the two best, cool, good regular techno events that you could expect quality and like really good artists coming over.
Right.
I mean, there was other stuff too, and there were clubs and things like
Mm.
that and raves. But I'm kind of talking about the regular weeknight New York thing,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, that was Mondays, and it was pretty much great every Monday.
Totally.
Which was, yeah, kind of, I mean, nowadays, I don't know about, like, during the week, Monday parties that still happen like
Well,
that.
it
Yeah.
is the realm of the youth. We are
Mm.
definitely, we're not fresh anymore, but we're relevant. But God, we don't want to go that way.
No.
Let's
I mean, New York City was in a different place then. I mean, the
totally.
whole culture, music culture was in a different place too, but
Things
so,
have changed a
yeah,
lot.
there have been like throughout my career, like pockets of, kind of like success, and then kind of like, oh, all right, I want to recreate myself and change up and kind of
Hmm.
like, so a lot of people are like, man, you're so lucky that you've been able to kind of have these kind of like up and down intervals, and they've gotten like bigger, like the valleys and peaks have gotten bigger throughout, which for me is a perfect trajectory, because like, just sometimes if you put too much pressure on yourself, you burn out and stuff. But yeah, this last wave, with all the reworks and stuff that I had
Hmm.
done in 2017, 2018, kind of, till now, it's been the biggest, and I'm glad to still be riding that.
Well, right. So, and that's one of the reasons you're on today. Like, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. Like, starting 2018, you've had some pretty good success with these remixes, reworks of classic tracks. And there's different things to talk about in like, how you approach doing a remix of a track that's a classic that everybody knows. And, what's the point of that? Like, it was already good. Why is that, like
Right.
and then how do you do it in a way that like ups the ante and it's making it fresh, it's making it, current, and it's also respecting it, right? And like, how do you approach that? And then both kind of conceptually and also technically, like, how do you do a good remix of a track you don't have parts for,
Right.
right? So we'll get into the details of that a little bit more later in the show. But you know what? Let's start with what you're doing right now. So you have a release coming out. It's the release date today, or was it
It was
yesterday?
yesterday, just came out. Yep.
Right, on Tronic. And I
On
think a
Tronic.
lot of people who watch the show know that Christian Smith is a good friend and longtime partner of mine. And, obviously you guys go back as well.
Yep.
And,
Yep. Yep.
I'm really happy to see guys like you staying in it with Tronic. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
listened to it a little bit. I like the vibe of the release. It's definitely like a nice meeting of what you do and the Tronic sound. So let's hear a little bit of that.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's the first track here. Let me try to pull it into Ableton here. I don't know if you're screen sharing yet,
Oh,
but
yeah.
okay. Let me hide all the naughty business and take out the good business. Here we go.
All right.
Let me lower that a little bit.
It's all right.
Volume's
You can
good?
pump it up a little bit. Go up like a little bit.
All right. How's that?
Good for now. Maybe does it kick in harder?
Yeah,
I like
bit.
this.
Yeah, this is a bit more atmospheric, you know? A little more. I guess you could say this is kind of related to that older tech house sound we were talking about. You know, a little more atmosphere, a little more chords and stuff. And this isn't the title track, but this is the first track on the EP. It's called Love the Feeling.
This is a good first track. This is like the vibe right away. I'm feeling it.
I think this was the first one that Christian heard, that he's like, oh, this is going to be the start of the EP. Like, he had the vision right away. So that's,
he knows what he's talking about.
We got to trust that. We got to trust that man.
Yeah, this is definitely a vibe that I like as a DJ. Like, it's not too hard. It's got a lot of energy. It's got this kind of moody atmosphere with the chords.
Yeah.
But then it's also jacking.
It is, yeah. Jacking. I'm going to jump forward a little bit.
Sure.
Jacking has been the thing on my mind lately. Kind of a Chicago twist with New York. Kind of. You can hear the house roots a little bit in this one.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think that's just as much of a New York thing as a Chicago thing.
Yeah.
If you think of all the like kind of tribally pumping, jacking house that has come out of New York, that's also verges on techno.
Yeah.
The kind of.
I mean, even if we look back to like Paradise Garage and the Warehouse in Chicago, I mean, you know, they shared so much of a crust. Like Frankie Knuckles was here from Jersey, right, originally, then ended up in Chicago, brought like that sound there. There's been a lot of back and forth between Chicago and New York, and Detroit too, obviously.
For sure.
But yeah, lately I've been just trying to wrap those roots up into my sound, little jacking beats with a little bit of deeper, you know, kind of some male vocals here and there. I'm going to throw the next track on. So this is the title track.
Feel free to just take it easy and let it play while we talk. You don't have to jump around.
Okay, I'm a bit neurotic, so yeah, I'll try to let it go. So this is the title track. It's called Work That Shh, and you'll see why.
You can say it.
No, that's what it's called.
Work That Shh.
That's what it's called.
All right.
So, you know, my mother looks at my track list, so I try to keep it G, you know?
You're such a good boy.
This is a little more on the disco, housey side.
Okay. Same tempo. You got that open hi-hat.
They're all around 136, same kind of energy.
I hear the congas ringing in the background.
Yep. A little bit of a sample help there.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, that sounds like a loop.
Yeah, that was, I'm pretty sure that was the first choice. The disco group first choice.
Ah, yeah, first choice.
Let No Man Put Us Under.
Could you pick a more famous first choice track to sample?
Look, I'm from New York, man. I grew up on Todd Terry, so.
Okay. That's another good name drop there, like stylistically. Like, if you hear his early stuff, it was all like kind of low bit rate, chopped up samples and loopy, and like how much that influenced techno, like with User. And things like that.
Yeah. I mean, you know, SP1200.
Never had an SP1200.
Right? It's 10-bit, I think, 10-bit sampler. Some of the early Function records also has that vibe for sure.
Totally. Function. I wouldn't mind. I wonder. He might be a little too cool to be on the show, but you know, we always got along back then. I'd love to have
that was
Dave
the New York scene. That was also
for a chat just to catch up.
I mean, we were seeing each other like 2-3 times a week at that point, all of us. Monday nights, you know, weekends. Tuesday nights, or you know, PJ's Drinkland parties and stuff.
That was a nice little turn with the high string, you know, kind of coming in and then going up a couple notes. Such a nice, simple little musical change right there in that break.
Yeah. Thanks for noticing. I've been trying to work on edits, you know, like really quick little like fills, you know what I mean? Because I feel like that's really what makes a difference. You know, like so many tracks coming out. You can pick a good loop, you can pick a good sample, but it's like, I don't know, for me, that intricate work has kind of been a little bit more like fun.
Got a comment here from Wuneng Z. Reminds me a lot of Stacy Pullen, driving but funky.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I'm a big fan of a bit older Stacy Pullen.
Sure.
So yeah, this fall, I think it's got a little more housey now. Great stuff, but this energy vibe is what I'm going for more lately. But yeah,
totally
that's cool.
upbeat energy. I like this.
That's
It's also
cool.
like a little bit in the old kind of Dave Angel, fast melodic musical techno vibe, right?
Yeah, I
Although
think that's
that stuff had more chord changes in it. But,
yeah, a little more jazzy. Yeah, true.
But the upbeat feeling is there. It's similar. Oh, look who's in the chat. Scott Richmond.
Oh,
What's up, Scott?
the old boss.
That's right. I mean, you were also Satellite alumni, right?
I sure was.
So yeah, for those of you who don't know, Satellite Records was a really important crew in New York for many years in New York, throwing raves. Had the record shop for a long time, and so both of us worked there. That was a big part of our kind of New York experience in the 90s.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. So yeah, that's a nice one.
Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Let's check out another one.
Yeah,
So far, we're 2-0. Like there's two. Those are two, slamming dance floor movers right there.
Cool. Yeah, I tried to go a little more upbeat on this EP. Let me put something a little more chill.
Aha. A
little more. Yeah.
Relatively.
I still like to have that bumping, 2-bar loop low end, but up top this is a little more mellow. I guess kind of like the first track I had played, but this is called Blow Fire. This one Richie Houghton has been playing. I saw on his Twitter that he dropped it a couple times. No, yeah, but he took it a step
actually
further.
play it?
Yeah, he took it a step further. Yeah, he actually played it. So
did he? What is that? That just reminded me of that new kind of playlist reporting system for DJs to share money with producers.
Is there one? Yeah.
Yeah, it's called A Slice.
Oh yes. That's the one I heard about. Yep, A Slice. Yeah.
So yeah, if you go on there, you can. If you have tracks. If you're on there as an artist, you can see when people play that report. You can see when people play your stuff.
That's pretty cool.
And I know like Richie Houghton and also Dubfire. Like I know they're two of the bigger guys that are on that early. And I think
they have another system like through Twitter, something that just every time they play the track, it just sends out a tweet right away. Which is
that's identifying. I've seen that before, but this one's actually like they're actually like paying a percentage of their gig money towards people. Yeah,
that's really cool. That's really. I mean, that's the future. Yeah, from what I hear, turntables have outsold guitars for the last few years. So the industry has to kind of reshape itself, I think, around DJs for a big part of it, not all of it, of course. But.
I think, we could go on a whole tangent about music publishing, but like the current system that's changing isn't really set up to accurately track all these plays of all these independent artists and independent labels and all these remixes, all these things that just, nobody. Yeah. Now, theoretically, you can, as a DJ, especially as a big DJ, like submit plays lists, submit cues to the big publishing rights organizations in every country, but like practically no one does it.
Yeah, excuse me. I think in Europe, I know in Holland they have a system that they have a microphone installed in the club, and it actually it's like a Shazam, and it picks up, and it kind of automatically reports everything. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty good way forward. They're pretty strict on that there.
Yeah, one of our regulars here, Live Society, makes a comment. DJs can't do what they do without the artist.
Sure.
So I think, that's definitely something to think about. And I've been seeing more and more going on to try to address that balance lately. Like what with, there's a lot of talk about, when DJs post mixes online when they don't put track lists. How it's such an easy thing to do to help out the producers out there to put the track list down. So at least some independent artists, maybe they'll get a few more Bandcamp sales if their tracks can be found because they know the DJ's giving up the track title.
Yeah. So, oh man, making money from selling music, that's a tricky one. That's a tricky one.
I know.
But yeah, I mean, the market has to kind of correct itself. I mean, hopefully correct itself at some point, because even
the technology is there to help make it easier, more seamless. Maybe if you never have to think about it, if it just reports it.
Yeah, if it was seamless like that, yeah. I mean, I wonder if the DJs can start getting some kind of royalty for like putting a mix together. I know Apple Music recently has like you could do mixes on there. Now I don't know how it works exactly, but I think they're trying to implement a way that DJs can actually get paid for the compilation of other tracks, which is also cool.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah,
that's really going to work for the biggest artists and DJs more.
Well, I mean, if you have
average shows,
it's like a streaming, I guess, right? Like you're technically streaming your mix from their platform.
Sure.
And if a lot of people listen, you know,
it could be good.
Yeah, a little more jazzy on this track here.
It's still pretty
piano.
fast and energetic. It's just it's a little less up. This one, I feel like the mood is a little more, kind of a little darker, a little more just going through the tunnel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this is like the in-between track in the set while you set up the next slammer.
Right. I have to comment on something. I don't know if this is what Houghton found interesting in this track, but the high end, I'm going to rewind just for a second here.
Sure.
The high end, there's like a ride, like a loop that I take it from a jazz record. And I kind of filtered out the low end. I just kind of left, you know, his kind of sticks and the ride sizzling there. Kind of hear it in the top. That loop had like a stick, like, you know, just hitting the drumsticks.
Oh, I see.
I had extracted that loop in live, and I put my own, like I put a 909 stick on top of that stick, and it fit in really well. I don't know.
You mean like a rim shot?
This really, like a rim shot. I call it stick, but like a rim shot. This really weird shuffle, like it's kind of an extreme shuffle, like shaka shaka shaka.
It's kind of hard to hear it. Wait.
Okay.
Let me listen. I hear it in the background.
Yeah. It's like two sticks, one on top of the other. But you know, I wanted to hide it a little, but
no, it's a subtlety. That kind of thing makes or breaks a groove, like the little ghost notes in between sounds, you know, in between the main beats.
Exactly.
And you know, if you're making straight techno with no kind of in between groove, it sounds more militant, more aggressive. And like all these tracks you're playing, you know, even if it's just short loops, there's like these intricate little rhythmic elements in between the kick drums that makes it have that more funk groove going on.
God is in the details, as they say, right?
Yes, indeed.
All right, so that was Below Fire. Should I throw another on from this EP?
Why not? We're having fun. We're talking. We're listening to music. It's almost halfway through. See, I told you, time flies.
It's flying. It's true.
That's right.
So let's go with, I guess, the harder one on the EP. The more techie techno one. This is called Keep Moving.
Mm-hmm.
I'll come clean on this. I did take a little sample from something.
I've done that.
I mean,
I'm guilty.
You know, look, all of house and techno and even some disco.
Everybody
is built on that. But
so much of this music is based on samples, as you know, as much as hip hop is based on at a certain point, you know, became based on samples, right?
Yeah. But you know, I'm very much into the school of believing there's a right way and a kind of wrong way. There's steal and there's borrow. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
I'd like to think. I mean, I'll be honest. Like, there are a couple times that I did some very blatant sampling.
Okay.
And it was fun, and it was a means to an end. But I'm not super proud of it. Like, I can't say, "Oh, this is all mine." Like, you can't.
Right. Yeah,
and
like
then,
I'll take something. It's more of like an accent, you know. Like I'll build a track, and then I'm like, oh, this needs like a vocal, or this needs like something that maybe people think is familiar, you know. Like that little vocal thing. That's all I had taken. I mean, I changed the pitch on it and stuff.
What is it? Let's see if I can.
It's pretty. I don't know if most people will get it, but I just thought it was worth mentioning because I'm like, I know the creator of it is gonna hear it. I'm like, I hope he doesn't get pissed off that I took his little vocal snippet. I mean, it's just a snippet, but
yeah.
So
it's been my experience that in most cases, like I know Christian and I have done a couple little cheeky samples.
I know.
and we personally know the people,
right,
and have worked with or done remixes of these people that we sampled without permission, and it's never been a problem. They were never like, "You stole from us, man." It was.
I know people that have sampled Smith and Son. I think you know too. I won't say, but that have like blatantly stolen a couple of like the Intech stuff you guys did, and you know, I won't get into details.
It happens, and Dave Clark posted
Yeah,
about
yeah,
this
the other
guy
day, yeah.
who put a release out on Beatport, and all 4 tracks on that were basically edits of other people's
That's
tracks
unbelievable.
with his name.
That's unbelievable.
And like this stuff happens all the time. And that's over the line, right? I think that's definitely
over the line.
Now,
Yeah.
if you had just kept it to yourself as like an edit for your DJ
Right.
set and didn't put your
give
name
it to
on
your
it,
friends. Yeah,
exactly. Okay, fine. People do that all the time. I mean, I was just talking to Christian recently. I was talking to him, and like he always makes these like edits and versions of tracks that he likes for his sets. They don't get put out, and even if they did get put out, it wouldn't be a Christian Smith track. It would be get permission, call it a remix, pay the right people, you know. Which is kind of segueing a little bit into your situation.
Yeah. I was just gonna say. All right. So before we do the segue, I will say. I mean, you didn't guess, but I will tell you where the sample is from. It's from.
I didn't get it.
It's from Paco Osuna.
Paco.
Good old Paco. In his little bit heavier days, he did not weight. He wasn't overweight. He was just heavier on his music.
We know what you mean.
But he did a track on Zenit. If you remember Marco Corolla's old label with a really, really nice packaging. I used to love that graphic packaging.
Yeah.
I think it's the last vinyl release they put out. I think it's the last Zenit vinyl release that they put out.
Early 2000s, mid 2000s?
That was just before I moved to Spain. So it must have been 2005.
Yeah.
And I had never even heard of Paco at that point. And I was like blown away by this track. It's called Avalanche.
Uh-huh.
And very heavy track. Really good.
No,
really good.
I played a couple of times with him in that time, like early 2000s to mid 2000s, and there was a brief couple of years where I was getting bookings with Cocoon, and he was also through Cocoon.
Yeah.
I would play with him in Spain, and it was blistering. It was so hard.
Yeah, he had his own club. He had his own club back in Spain.
Yeah, that's right.
Cube Club, I think it was called, something like that.
Oh my gosh, Christian will remember.
Early 2000s.
But there was also in Barcelona, like Christian and Paco, and also Marco and
Club 4 and Bayer.
Club 4.
Yeah, it's the 4 of them. Yep.
That was cool.
You played a few times, I think.
Yes,
yeah,
indeed.
Yeah. We went to those nights.
That time.
Yeah. See, so yeah, just like the career trajectory. You know, it's like the time in New York was like amazing, and then it kind of tapered off. Then we went to Barcelona, and it was like exploded there. Kind of like got big, kind of came back here. It's like changing around. So
cool.
But yeah, Club 4 was great. So yeah, Paco Osuna. And back to the segue.
Right. Well, we're halfway through. This is 343 TV, Techno Saturdays, with me, John Selway, and my guest here, Agent Orange. And we're just hanging out, having fun, talking about music, talking about the old days. And I'm going to see what's going on in the chat here. Scott Richmond is delivering some knowledge about... we were talking a little bit earlier about, tracking plays. And
yes, he's good at that stuff. Yeah.
What is this? In the U.S., they do what's called sampling, where they do not take into account all the plays, so the major label artists end up with the publishing royalties. Yeah. So it's like it favors the 1%, right? Like the ones that sell the most. Yeah, they get most of the pie. And it's not accurate and it's unfair. So hopefully that system will get worked out. And look at this. Unengzi says, I appreciate the honesty. This is about sampling. As long as you process it into something original, why not?
Make it your own, as they say. Right.
Exactly. So, thanks for that. I appreciate that. And, so just to remind everybody, hey, I haven't said this in a while. If you like, give us a thumbs up, right? If you haven't subscribed, please do. You know, we want to kind of grow our subscriber count. And, of course, check out what we've got going on at 343 Labs. Go to the link below to see what courses we have coming up. We're definitely starting a bunch of courses for the summer. Now is the time, if you're interested, to check out what's happening. Our subscription-based 343 Studio is ongoing. I've done a couple of collab workshops. I really enjoy doing feedback sessions and mentoring sessions. You know, if you there's a free tier and a couple of paid tiers, and you pay a little more, you get a little more access. If you go for the top tier, you get basically, access to me, access to Abe, the other instructors, whatever music style you're into, whether it's techno or not, there's going to be someone here that can work with you, give you feedback on your tracks, give you guidance in the mentorship sessions. I really enjoy doing that. So I'd like to encourage those of you who want to get a little bit of more of what we're doing here one-on-one for a pretty good value, right? You don't have to shell out couple $1,000s for a full course. You can pay, I don't know, 30 something bucks a month and drop in, have 15-minute sessions, get some one-on-one advice or feedback on what you're working on. So, think about it. Check out the link below. Also, if you haven't joined our Discord, that's a good place to drop in, meet like-minded producers and artists, find out about events going on, workshops, things like that, just to stay tuned in a little bit more deeply with what we're doing at 343 Labs. All right. So let's check out we want to talk about remixing, your approach to remixing, and, you're taking these classic tunes that are already hits, and like, how do you approach that? How do you, what's the point of that? Like, why make a new version of a track that's already slamming? I can think of a few reasons, but I want to hear it from you. And and then technically, people try to do remixes all the time. They get acapellas of famous songs, through whatever means. It used to be like you'd go to acapellas for UK or whatever that website was, and now we've got all these algorithmic tools that we can do spectral kind of processing on sounds and isolate sounds. I'm sure you've probably gotten into a little bit of that.
Nope, no clue. No clue
really?
how any of that stuff works.
We'll do that. We'll do that on another show. I've been looking at a little bit of that lately.
Okay.
There's a track that I did with Oliver Chesler on Industrial Strength called Carousel. It was one of our Koenig Cylinders record.
That's a disintegrator, no?
Yeah. We had Disintegrator, which was harder.
Right.
And then Koenig Cylinders, which was less hardcore, a little more techno-y. Although still pretty hard, really. It was the 90s. And we had this one track called Carousel, and Christian wanted to do a remix of it, but it's really, really, we don't have separate parts, and the way that it's mixed, it's just so hard to like grab a piece of it that makes sense. Mm-hmm. But some of these kind of new spectral tools, it's possible to do, and AI-based tools, it's possible to do really accurate stem separation. I think we might be able to do it now. But all right, that's another time.
Impressive stuff. Yeah, I've seen it in action.
I want to talk to you about how you sort of technically approach, like how do you get parts, what parts do you use, and like how do, so anyway, you've got a project for us to check out.
I do have a project. So the first kind of rework remake that really created a lot of waves and helped I guess put my name back on the map in a lot of circles was a remix of Armand van Helden's Witch Doctor.
All right.
One of my favorite tracks growing up, going to Limelight, Tunnel, you would hear this everywhere, and it just left like a big mark on me. So, back then I was like, one day I'll be good enough to remix that, so I kind of have a big list of stuff I've always wanted to remix. I mean, I'm a DJ first, kind of before producer. I mean, I love doing both things, but so I have this list of tracks I want to remix, and my friend just one day randomly, he's like, "Oh, I heard Witch Doctor on the radio. Why don't you do a remix of that?" Like, I was like, you know what? That's on my list. I'm going to do it. Why not?
Cool. All right.
So I was like, all right, what do I need? I need parts. There are a couple of parts all right. So I'm going to be straightforward. I opened the session here and it looks like there are some samples missing. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I did do a search, so it located some of them, but
we'll do what we can.
I think the important ones are here, but we'll see in about a minute. So I'm going to run the track just so we can hear something. And so I was like, I need a couple of parts. There are a couple of sections in the original song where there's nothing happening other than one element. So I was I was able to isolate.
Right there, that's one thing. Like a good remix candidate might be a track that gives up some of its secrets in the arrangement. Like you might have the hook by itself for a bar, or you always got to check the end of a track. Sometimes the very end will give up some secrets.
Yeah, absolutely true. The very end, you might have just like a chord hit that was just like left there, and it's like perfect. So I think the main, I'm going to jump forward. The main chord of the track. I mean, when I start the project, I kind of run it through. Like I'll just sit and listen. Like, does this have stuff? Is it even worth like proceeding? Because a few times I've tried to take stems just like out of a song with everything happening, like the main loop, like the drums, every part of it. And I'll try to like throw a high pass filter, get rid of the bass. All right, the voice is still there, but in the end, it's just too noisy. It doesn't sound good in the mix. So I've forgotten about it. But in this case, I listened to the track. I was like, all right, the chord, that chord hit, that really pronounced. Well, that's the siren, but
all right, that's definitely one of the.
So there's that rising chord hit there. And there's a very clear shot on the original that I was able to get. So that's a given. His voice, there's a few times where he says the Witch Doctor. with nothing really under it. I
Mhm.
mean, a lot of times it's just that. It's just EQing out some of the stuff that, that kind of isolates it. So that's the first thing to do. Just listen to the whole track,
Sure.
listen to the end, find a couple of like the breakdown, the end, a couple of places where there's some things. I pitched down his voice because on the original he has his voice pitched down.
Mhm.
So that was an easy one. And then the siren, the siren is
Yeah.
kind of standard air raid siren. I don't remember. Let me see where it is
It's like a
actually.
library sample. I feel like it's
Kind
like a
of.
sound that you could find
Yeah, it's
fairly
just an air
easily
raid.
on its
Yeah.
own, right?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, let me scroll through and see what is here because that'll be easier to talk about, right? So
All right.
this is a kick from the original.
Sure.
I had put it at the end of the 4-beat loop as a fill. So that was just a sample of his kick. I had added my own kick underneath.
Right. All right. So I see what you're doing. Like you're using your kick, and that's like,
Yeah.
and one of the once we get into sort of like the individual elements here, like I'm thinking about like why would you take a track like the Witch Doctor and do a version of it now?
Right.
And all right, it was pumping back in the day, but it still sounds. If you play the original, it sounds dated. It's hot.
It does sound dated, but
it
the
sounds
vibe
nostalgic, right?
Right,
The vibe
right,
is
right.
great, but it has like a nostalgic feel. So
yes,
you can take what's great about that and then like modernize it.
yeah,
And like
yeah.
use a kick drum that's like more typical of the kind of kick you would use now for your productions.
Right.
But then you're slipping in one of the, like just one kick drum sample from the original as an offbeat that kind of, so you're making a new rhythm using the original sound in a different way.
Yeah. For these reworks, for me, it was super important to kind of really try to capture the original. Because like, I've done remixes where like I changed the song a lot.
Sure.
But these projects, like this period of time that I was working, I was like, I really want to like capture a lot of the original, not just like reuse it, but because there's a lot of bad remakes that we've all heard on Beatport where it's literally just a sample that they add a snare. They just steal a whole like 8 beats and put a snare on it and call it a remix. But I really wanted to kind of take all the parts and kind of put them all together in a way that the original feeling will come across, but modernized, kind of bring it up to date, like you were saying.
Cool.
The Witch Doctor sound dated, so use some of it, use the kind of the core elements, but in a new kind of more current way. So like he in his I'll check the bottom here. He's got like a 909 snare, or it's kind of like, I think it's a snare sample. I don't think it's a 909, but I did use a 909. So I programmed it in the same way he had his sample, but I used the 909, and I kind of did a lot of tweaking to the drum sample. So yeah, that's over here. So it starts off real tight, very small release.
Automation.
Yeah. So you can see the lanes here. I'll open it up on the bottom. Yeah, there's the snap and the decay I kind of automate throughout. Oh yeah, there's
that's
the
what
reverb
you do,
too, the delay. I mean.
If you're tweaking the knobs on a real 909, it's exactly what you would do.
Yes. Yes. So like I used the pattern of his drum, but I put a 909 because it was a little more modern. So
right. So you replayed the original rhythm. It's not a loop from the original. You're just replaying parts.
So yeah, so like I'm nodding to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But updating it. So let's see what else we got. This is just a 909 ride, kind of. Always standard these days to kind of bring a little bit of extra energy.
What is it? It's so easy to add a 909
I think
ride
it's
on
just,
top of a
it just
techno track.
always fits. It just always fits. Yeah, like it's just never not fits, if it gets really fatiguing to your ear, just throw like a sidechain on it, and pump it, and it's still good.
A little de-essing maybe. They get very bright.
Yeah, they do. They do. I do have this really nice EQ that I use for that. I will mention. It's called the Slick EQ by Tokyo Labs.
Yeah. Is that one of the free ones?
I do have the paid version, the mastering one, but it does come with the free one, which is just as good, really.
Yeah, those I like the sound of the Tokyo Dawn Labs plugins, like the different compressors they have. I haven't used the EQ, but
no, they have great stuff. Oh yeah, no, it's super good. It's super good because it'll analyze your input signal and it'll de-resonate. You know what I mean? So
that sounds similar to what Soothe does.
Yes, it's very much like Soothe. It's not exactly the same, but yeah, I saw Soothe also being used, and it was kind of the same idea. I like Soothe
a lot. I can't use too many of them on my computer. It starts to complain, but I like what it does.
Here's the chord sample. So I was able to just get a clean hit. I ran it through a couple of effects, kind of like he did. He kind of filtered it up and down. Yeah. I did reduce the amount of loop though. I think he looped it at halftime to what this is. I think this is a little more spread out. It
Okay.
felt a little more techno this way, you know. I wanted to
Okay.
update it a little. So let's see what I have. I just have drive, some LFO on the filter,
Yeah, I mean, this is
compressor.
pretty
Yeah,
straight ahead signal chain here.
yeah, it's all Ableton stuff for this one.
Uh-huh. What does it sound like all together?
What do you mean? All muted or?
No, like what? I'm just curious.
Oh,
if you-
everything. Oh, okay.
yeah, let's just hear everything.
Oh, most of the stuff is in here. Unless, wait, no, I think it's playing back like a 2-track. Oh, no, that's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it.
It seems it's heavy, right? It feels slow compared to your new tracks that we were
It
listening
does.
to before.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it feels like night and day. I mean, I was in a different headspace back then, and I think a lot of people were. I think the pandemic has actually increased BPMs because you know people were working from
home. It was
home.
already starting before, but like since 2018 to 2022, BPMs average BPMs have gone from like 128 to like almost like 140.
Yeah,
in techno.
yeah.
Like it's
140 is like a normal thing now. It's still
right.
a bit much for me. I don't know. I like. I'm working at like 136 to 138, but it's very, you know, I'd rather just someone pitch it up to mix it 140 rather than making that one. Like I feel as a DJ, you know, especially starting from techniques, like pitching down was always like a no-no. Like I just don't like the way, but pitching up was always like, yeah, sure, it's awesome. You know, always. So I would always try to like pitch up. Like you could pitch up quickly, but if you want to like slow down the vibe or like pitch down the record, like it would have to be like a much more gradual type thing. So I don't know. I'd rather people speed it up than slow it down.
Well, and also think about what happens to audio.
Yeah.
When you know, if especially analog audio, but when you speed up, things sound brighter. And when you slow down, things sound darker.
That's true.
So, you know, if you've already got a lot of low bass in a track and you go too slow, it gets muddy.
Right.
You might, you know, if it's deep enough.
Especially low end,
low end could disappear because from the sound system might not even be able to reproduce what's coming out when you slow it down. If you know,
and especially with the time stretching algorithms on the CDJ, sometimes
well, that definitely messes
for slowing down.
I'm just talking about like say just vinyl or just pitch only.
Pitch,
not stretching your compression. Yeah,
right.
So yeah, the time stretching has a whole nother issue.
So I see we've got this little sample here that I added.
That's from the original, or you?
No, this is my own little accent. This is a Mother 32, a Moog. This guy right here.
Okay, just a little pluck from.
Just a little pluck, yeah. But I think it definitely added a lot of moodiness because there's a bit of reverb on it.
Sure.
I don't remember what's on the chain here.
That kind of sound is so usable in all different styles
across genres. Yeah.
And across genres, it's like it's percussive. It's like a drum, but it has a tone, and depending on the tuning of it, it can sound more like a percussion sound or more like a melodic element.
Yeah, I think this added a lot to the track. I really do. Like when everything's playing, it's a little more noticeable.
Where did he originally get that? What? Because that's a famous sample.
Yes.
Like, where is that originally from? The
I think it's from Sweet Pussy Pauline, that famous like acapella.
Ah, that acapella.
I think it's that really vulgar one.
Yes.
But that was like, I mean, every house DJ in New York at those years was dropping that. Like every club you went to, that was always played every night.
It's a very identifiable whoop.
Yeah.
It's been used for many years, and it's in a lot of different music.
Yeah, there was either Sweet Pussy Pauline or First Choice, one of the First Choice acapellas.
I think the former, but if I get it right.
I think it was. Yeah, she goes, woof, where's the beef, honey?
Oh, man.
yeah. So it's Sweet Pussy Pauline. No,
Say that again.
No, I won't. Whoop.
Couple of nice comments from the chat here. Ben Colt says, sounds good. Yes, it does sound good. I mean, this was a hit for you.
It was. It did. Yeah, the story is pretty funny. I mean, I don't know if you want me to get into that now, but
no, sure. No, that's part of this. I'm curious to we're talking now sort of more technically what's gone into doing the remix, and we're looking at how you put it together and hearing individual sounds, but like how did it go from you making it to getting it officially released?
Oh, I see. Like there's three tracks for this pitch sample.
Because you didn't generally, when it's a legit remix, a record label or a producer that you're familiar with or another artist that you're friends with will ask for, will request a remix.
Yes.
Like, I have this track and I want you to do a mix. And, a label might want it to help sell the record or to fill out a release. An artist might want to do it because, you're cool and you want to hang out and do stuff together. There's a million different reasons to do remixes, legit.
Right.
So which one was it for you? What prompted this and how did it get released?
Yeah. So I started getting into it before. So my friend came to me one day. He's like, "Hey, I heard the Witch Doctor. Why don't you remix it?" And I was like, "All right, it's on my list. I'll do it." Yeah. So I put it together, and I was like, "All right, this is really cool. I think it's something special that can work. I think Armand would like it. Like, he hadn't heard it, obviously. I just did it on my own because I love it. So I was like, all right, I got to get it out there, and I want to do it the legit way. I could have just given it out for free or to my friends, but I was like, let me try to do the whole entire spiel, So I put it on a USB. I took it to Carl Cox. He was playing in Brooklyn at the pier. It was like a tech support party.
Let me just stop you there. You took it to Carl Cox.
Yes, I took it to Carl Cox.
Not everybody has that access.
Look, I mean, we've been in the scene, so friend of a friend of a friend, you could get backstage. He was playing in Brooklyn. I put it on a USB stick. Mind you, I've had many interactions. He's supported me over the years in my music.
No, I can say that also.
2005,
he's a super supportive guy. Like, he recognizes when a track is good and he'll play it.
Yeah, I mean, he signed so much early Smith and Selway stuff on Intech. Yeah. So yeah, he was playing in Brooklyn. I was like, all right, I mean, who else to give it? Right, he's the man. Like, he understands the house vibes. He's very, huge techno guy, of course. He's kind of in between. So I was like, he's the guy. He's the guy I got to give it to, because obviously, if he likes it, a lot of people will hear it. So I took it to Brooklyn. I put it on a USB, of course, an orange USB, because I'm Agent Orange. I was like, look, I did this remix. He was interested. He's like, okay, nobody's really done that recently. A remix of Witch Doctor. So 2 weeks later, I don't know, somebody tagged me on Facebook, like, hey, Carl's playing because I posted on social media, like, I'm doing the remix. I didn't put any clips of it. I was like, oh, I got an idea. I'm going to do this remix, and like, people are like, yeah, cool idea. Probably blew it off, whatever, because that's normal these days. Like, everyone's announcing their things on social, without doing
overload of information all the time.
So I saw a video of him playing it. I don't know, some festival in Italy. So I was like, oh my God, awesome. He liked it. The next week, again, the next weekend, boom. So 3 weeks went by. Every week I've been getting clips of him playing this, and people started the buzz started to go around.
Right.
And then he had played his residency in Ibiza, and it was the same night as Bayer. Bayer was playing after him. And he played it there, and Bayer heard it. And then the next morning I got an email from Adam Bayer. He's like, bro, what is this, Witch Doctor? Carl played this and it's crazy. It's I want it. I was like, sure, okay.
All right.
And it kind of started an avalanche right there. So I sent it to him. He started playing in Ibiza, and all of the drum code DJs started asking me for it. And, just a lot of DJs in general. I mean, from harder techno DJs to house DJs, because it was, it was in house crossover. Nostalgia. Yeah, it was a house nostalgia, the original, but I kind of did it in a more pumping, techno kind of way. So
it's
it was able
definitely
to
a
cross
techno
over.
track that house DJs could play.
Yeah, the slow BPM helped that. Like I said, better to make it a little slower, let people speed it up if they want. So yeah, so then the I had a bunch of DJs, on video playing this track. I was like, all right, I mean, I've got the evidence, I'm going to take it to Armand, you know what I mean? Because it's something all these DJs are playing it, they like it. So maybe he'll like it, and maybe I could get it released, legit. So I couldn't really get in touch with him. So I was like, all right, Strictly Rhythm was the label that put out the original. I was like, let me contact Strictly Rhythm. Just kind of back in the day, you used to take the record label and read all the inscription and see who did this, who did that, where did it get recorded. So I started going down the trail. So I contacted them. They said they sold their catalog to this distributor in Germany or whatever. So I contacted them. They, they kind of took me as a joke, oh, whatever. Everybody says they remix Armand, whatever. So it's like, wait, but look at these videos. So that kind of opened their eyes a little bit. And they're like, okay, well, we do have the rights for it, but he has to approve everything. So it's like, all right, well, send it over to him. Let's see. So they sent it. It was really difficult to work with them. I won't say who it is. It did take a little bit of time, and they were very much they straight up told me, you took out anything that's good in this track. Anything
Seriously?
they're straight. They're like, anything that's sellable. Mind you, this is they deal
that
with
makes no
music.
sense to me, because all of the hooks are in it.
They deal with house music, and
Okay.
it's kind of like that scenester thing. If it's not Armand, it's not good enough. You know what I mean? Plus, there are a lot of people that are in the school of you should never touch a classic, and that's cool.
Well,
But anyway,
that was part of why I asked earlier. Like,
yeah, I
when you
did
would do
get
something like this, like, and you found resistance, and I'm not
lot,
surprised.
a lot. Yeah, especially on the first one. After that, I had a little bit more behind me that I can
Okay.
show, but so it was kind of I did almost quit at one point because they were pretty frustrating, but they did send it to him and he liked it. He just approved it. He's like, "Yeah,
I
cool. Let him go
comes
for it."
down to that. Like, if he approves it,
And it was, they did ask for some money. So I was like, all right, I could kind of
to
put this out of
license it.
out of pocket, or I could find the label, yeah, to license it, to give me clearance, like full legit clearance to use his name,
Yeah.
to so I was like, yeah, I want to do it that way. But they're like, well, we're not releasing music. We just license music. So you're gonna
They
have to
just
find a
own the
label.
catalog, right?
Yeah, yeah, they just own the rights, yeah. So they're like, you're still gonna have to find a label. And Strictly Rhythm, I was like, they're not, they're not where I want to go because they're still
Hmm.
doing house. So I was like, let me find someone else. And I just, reached out to a bunch of friends, and Pig and Dan eventually they liked it a lot. And they're like, well, we have Elevate,
Right.
maybe we can put it all together. So they got me in touch with their label manager, and it was kind of weird for a remix to happen this way, like for
Yeah, it's
the label
backwards
not
from it
to.
usually happens.
Right, right. So he was kind of like, what? Like scratching his head. But he was very cool. He was very receptive, and he liked the idea and he liked the song. So yeah, he's like, I'll work with you, and we'll get it done. So that was it. We got it done. They released it, and I don't know,
And
it
it did
charted
great.
charted really well. It just
Yeah.
got played pretty much that year, like almost all the major
And you made
festivals.
$1 million.
Definitely not.
Yeah. But
But
I want to take
I
away
did make some
from
profit. Actually, I
no,
did make a little bit of profit.
and
A
you
little
probably
bit of
got some
profit.
gigs.
And Armand got a big check, so he's happy.
Exactly.
And
So,
it was all legit above the table.
mhm,
So yeah, gigs, definitely gigs and lots of recognition. And it got some. Actually, I ended up doing a music video for it, and
I remember.
Mixmag premiered it, so that was really cool. That was
Did
fun.
Armand have a cameo in it?
He did. He did. He's at
Yeah,
the
right?
very end of the video. Yeah, yeah.
Perfect.
He was super cool. Like I finally, got in touch with him. We talked, and like I'd met him a few times, back in the day. So he kind of remembered, and yeah, that was really cool. Like the way it went down was totally legit, and people always ask me like, "Hey, I want to do this remix. How did I do it?" And I got to give them the whole story. But at least
It's a
today I
good
gave it to a lot of
story.
people at once. Yeah.
And we could take away some things from this. And, one is having personal connections, personal relationships with people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because none of this would have happened probably without
Yeah.
those.
Oh yeah, everything's about who you know, and your
Yeah.
network. Not to
And
say that you have to be a kiss ass all the time, but just
whether that's
your
social
people.
media
Your
or in
people.
real life, like
It's everything. It's
it's
everything.
everything. So finding and maintaining those relationships is crucial, right? And another one is, the persistence. I mean, yeah, Ben Colt's here in the chat says, cool story, persistence paid off. Thanks for that. Like, that's definitely a big one. You said you almost gave up,
I
but you
almost gave
didn't.
up. I almost gave up. They were super frustrating. Because they were treating me like really bad too. And it's like, look, I've been around a long time. Don't
Hmm.
talk to me like that. But I had to bite the bullet. I had to just deal with their nonsense. But it was worth it for me in the end.
Yeah.
Then just the song alone, like I really believed in it, and I was really happy with it. So that
Yeah. I think
of
we
course
know there's a lot of nonsense in the music business. Well, just in
yeah,
all business, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's just,
A quick anecdote. I'll say they don't all go this way. Some of
no.
them are easier, actually. Some of
Mhm.
them are harder. So I'll give you the quick story of an easier one. So like a
Sure.
few, this one did really well. So I was like, all right, I got to do another one. I got to do another one. I'm going to pick a same, a similar kind of like something from that same time period that I really loved, and it was Josh Wink's "Don't Laugh." He was called Winks, Winx, which released
Yeah.
on
That
Nervous Records. Yeah, it was like 91, I think. Yeah, 91, I
was
think.
that early? It
It
was
was that early.
91?
It was that
Wow.
early. Yeah, yeah. And that was like, I think the Nervous was like a huge label at that point.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I just did that one. Same thing. I kind of extracted some parts from his original. I rewrote the 303 line because that was kind of easy to do. It's a 303 on my TB 303, the one with the stuffed animal attached to it.
Uh-huh.
And then I sampled, I think, just the organ hit, and then he's got an acapella of his laughing on the record. So I was like, all right, I already have that. So I was like, I'll do it, and that one I did it as a little bit of a harder, more techno. The BPMs went up, and I was like, I want it to be like a festival record, and it
All
did
right.
work out. But that one basically, so anyone that had played the Witch Doctor, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to send it to Carl Cox. I'm going to send it to Adam Bayer because they loved the last one. And oh, there you go.
Yeah, I figured we heard a little bit of the Witch Doctor, just clips of it while
Yes.
you were playing your remix and showing us the project. But I figured I'd put a little music on that we can talk over because we're almost at the end of the show. But yeah, this is the Agent Orange rework of Josh Wink's "Don't Laugh." Whoa.
Yeah, I twisted his vocal a lot in it. I wanted to do something a little different than just the original. But so this one, I had like my wife, Becca, she's from Philadelphia, so she grew up as a techno DJ there. She knows a lot of the people there. Josh is from Philly. I was like, hey, do you know someone that can get me in touch with Josh? Once again, the network, you know? And she's like, yeah, I've got this guy, Rob Payne, you know, he's good friends with Josh. Like, I'll get you in touch. So I got in touch. And he heard it. He replied. He didn't really say if he liked it or not. He was kind of like, I just did it. I'm sending it to you. It's not coming out or anything. I sent it to like 10 DJs. You know, he's like, all right, cool. It kind of died there. And then Miami Music Conference was like the week after. And he was going down. You know, he was doing an open party. But, you know, Carl had it. Bayer had it. And they both played it at Ultra. Like, Carl played it both days in a row. And then Bayer played it in his set. So a whole bunch of videos went out again. Like, everyone's like, oh, what's this crazy remix of Don't Laugh that Bayer and Carl were playing? And actually, one of the girls that works for Nervous, like an A&R, Danielle, she got in touch with me a week after Miami. She's like, hey, is this you? Did you do this? And because she had seen, you know, on social media, like it was one of the hot songs of the conference or whatever. I was like, oh, cool. So yeah, she got in touch with me. She's like, yeah, we want to sign it. I was like, well, does Josh like it? And yeah, they ran it by him, and he said in the end that he liked it. So
great. Here comes, I hear the laugh coming in.
The iconic laughter, yeah, the evil laugh. I put a lot of effects on that laugh, a lot, like stereo and pitch.
Yeah, some crazy stereo filter thing going on there. And I bet you had to compress it a lot because the original's really like resonant, really sharp.
It is.
This is good. It's definitely like solid. It has enough of the character of the original.
Yeah.
Well, how could it not with that?
Yeah, I love
sample?
this breakdown. Yeah.
I like the speeding up part.
Yeah.
Because you're creating polyrhythms.
I was straight up just trying to impress Josh 100%. Like, that was my goal here.
Is that a snare drum roll coming in? The original also has a snare drum. It's like all snare drum.
It's kind of like a kick roll and a snare roll.
See, that was a very modern thing to do right there.
Yeah.
Just drop everything out and hit that whirr thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
That sound, that was also from the Mother 32, that wow. They're throughout the track. So like I try to add stuff, you know, I don't just try to, like I try to capture the original, but like I said, bring it up to date with some new sounds and stuff.
Cool. Well, you're doing it. We've made it to the end. We're actually over an hour. I told you, time flies, but it's past 2. It's time to wrap things up. I got to move on with my day, get back to my family, and be a techno dad. That's the rest of my day today.
I hear that.
So thanks so much for being on today. It's been fun chatting with you, listening to your stuff, sort of getting caught up. And I got to say, like your new release on Tronic, I mean, Tronic puts out a lot of good stuff. This is one of my favorite releases on Tronic in a while.
Cool.
If I were DJing regularly, I might actually play it, but I can't promise you that because I don't have any gigs. I haven't been trying to get any gigs.
COVID, man. Yeah. It's
well, no, I stopped before COVID. I was already like, you know, the last real gig I had was at a place in Berlin, Suicide Circus, and then before that was Berghain, which was a couple years before that. Like
insane.
That's
end on a high note.
There you go. Cool. Well, yeah. Thanks again. Really glad to have you. This has been fun.
Thanks,
and everybody out there in the chat, thanks for participating, and
thanks for listening, everyone.
Thanks for listening. Check out Agent Orange. Give him a follow on social media. Check out his music. Definitely his new release on Tronic, which was out yesterday. And good luck with that. And hopefully we'll catch up again very soon.
Cool.
Nice one.
Thanks a lot, guys.
See ya.